this match here between Ben Friedman and Ryan Phraner, they will be heading to the top 8. And it looks like
we just walked into the quintessential legacy game.
It seems to be the case. Now, Ryan Phraner, not sure if it's someone you're familiar with, and I actually don't know the gentleman very well at all, but in a conversation with Christian Calcano this weekend, Calcano did lose a match to Phraner before he made his exit on day 1. He said, Phraner is a player who is as good or better than me and could be on the Pro Tour if he wanted, but he just has work obligations and doesn't play very much.
Some strong praise from Calcano.
I agree.
Multiple-time Grand Prix champion, gold-level pro.
And Phraner's off to a great start this game, so we might be heading to game 3 pretty soon here. There's a Delver of Secrets from Phraner. Friedman will draw a card. Tropical Islands! With a lot of Forked Bolts and Lightning Bolts in hand. Phraner gonna take a look. It's a Daze.
Daze is good against people with 1 land.
Great analysis there. Here's an attack for 7. Pass the turn back. Friedman will draw. It's a Deathrite Shaman. That's gonna put a close on this game. So, these players are going to be heading to game number 3 as they are all tied up. Grixis Delver Mirror goes to Ryan Phraner for that second game, and so maybe they'll be going back to the drawing board for the sideboard. We'll have to see. But I'm telling you, these deck lists are very, very similar. So much, in fact, I mean, same creature base. It looks to be very similar mana base. Yeah, and then I've got the difference in the main deck, -1 Stifle, +1 Fork Bolt for Phraner, where Friedman has 4 Stifles.
Okay, I
guess
I would
really about it.
I would have a slight preference for the Forked Bolt build of the deck in this matchup, but as you mentioned, very close to the same 60 cards.
So they'll be going to game 3 here in just a moment. We'll take a look at the sideboards here very quickly. On Ben's side, he's got 4 Cabal Therapies, 2 Surgical Extractions, 2 Painful Truths, 2 Pyroblast, 2 Izzet Staticaster of Submerge, and 2 copies of Forked Bolt. Anything you like there?
The 2 copies of Forked Bolt I think are fine. Staticaster is a little awkward because it's symmetrical, but still probably good enough. It can catch you up while you're behind from things like Pyromancer and various tokens. And I think the Pyroblasts are okay.
On the other side of things, I know you got Phraner's deck list in front of you.
3 Dark Confidant, 3 Cabal Therapy, 2 Pyroblast, 1 Needle, 1 Ancient Grudge, 2 Surgical Extraction, 1 Dismember, 1 Fork Bolt, 1 Vortex, Sulfuric Vortex. I'll bring in the Fork Bolt, the Dismember, and 2 copies of Pyroblast.
Okay. These players will be getting underway here in just a moment. Going to finish shuffling up. Don't think they're going to go back to the drawing board here, as they know they're in the mirror, so they know what options each other do have. But in the meantime, we're going to talk very quickly about the rest of the Season 4 schedule here in the Open Series to close out the year. Not a lot of time left. We had Grand Prix Atlanta and the Open Series in Kansas City a couple of weeks ago. We're here in New Jersey. Someone's walking out of here with $5,000, 25 Open Series points, and an invite to our Season 4 Invitational in Las Vegas. But before that Invitational takes place, we're going to Denver.
Yeah, and usually this rundown is a lot longer than this, but we're hitting the end of the year. Standard Open next week in Denver. After that, Season 4 Invitational, Las Vegas, Nevada, Standard and Modern as the Invitational formats with a 2-day $20,000 Standard Open Series event. That's December 11th through the 13th. Then a week after that, Players Championship, Roanoke, Virginia, Star City Games headquarters, December 19th and 20th to close out the year.
For all of our players that do attend Denver, because it's the last time you can get this bad boy, it's the Hop and Rabbit Master playmat. Now we'll have a new playmat for you guys for Season 1 of the SCG Tour for 2016. But right now in the Open Series, free limited edition playmat available to all of our competitors until December 5th. So that's at Open Series in Denver. If you can join us, you can get this thing.
Last opportunity. If you show up to Denver, though, this is free with admission to the Standard Open Series event. Don't have to be one of the first X people to register. Don't send it to you after the fact. No strings attached. Free with every entry to the Open Series event next weekend in Denver.
Hopefully we'll see you guys there. But for right now, we are in New Jersey watching Ben Friedman versus Ryan Phraner. Grixis Delver Mirror, winner of this match, will be in the top 8, joining Caleb Scherer, Chris Anderson, and as we just found out, Ross Merriam. Also the potential for a former Open Series champion and a very skilled and fast Miracles player in Sam Raucus, who is a table 6 this round. He is playing for top 8. So we're going to see how things do break for some of these players. Right now, Chris Anderson drew with Rich Cali, and then Christopher Stitson did draw with Caleb Scherer. So that'll put you 4 players in. Tom Keating versus Max Williams. That's Elves versus Punishing Obzon. That'll be a match that's taking place right now. One of those players will make top 8. We saw Ross Merriam take care of Ben Glancy, so Ross Merriam in the top 8, whoever does win this match. And then it looks like Sam Raucus, his match right now against Jordan Kasten Kraus. Difficult last name to pronounce, but whoever does win that match likely in as well. So that'll give you an idea. That'll give you an idea what to look forward to a little bit later this evening.
And Ben Friedman kind of snuck up the standings. I know that he was initially on our players to watch here and took some losses early in the tournament.
Yep.
I think at one point, I don't know if he was dropped off or I just stopped paying attention. I don't really know, but I just assumed that he was playing out the stretch here. But he has not done a lot of losing on day 2.
Yeah, when I talked to Ben yesterday in passing, he said, I forgot to bring my deck with me. I didn't want to play this deck. I don't really play Grixis Delver much. He typically plays Stoneforge Mystic strategies. He was just going to play either Blue-White Stoneblade or Esper Stoneblade. And he's like, that'd be a funny story to tell on camera, assuming I get on camera. And I said, well, you know, maybe that'll happen.
Maybe, I mean, maybe not, you know.
Now he's 1 game win away from making the top 8, as he's going to cycle another Gitaxian Probe here. We saw Phraner's hand. Friedman will draw a Volcanic Island. A little bit land heavy for Ben. He's got a Wasteland, a Trop, a Flooded Strand, and he's got a hard cast a Probe. What now? Another, ugh, that's a lot of lands for him.
Yep. This is the one of the major costs with Gitaxian Probe is you have less information on your opening hands. I think that if he knew that these 3 Gitaxian Probes were going to yield 3 lands, he would have just sent this hand back.
Yep.
But you just don't know when you draw up the hand. Could be anything. Could be anything.
Even another Gitaxian Probe.
Could be another Gitaxian Probe.
Yeah.
Fortunately, his hand has a Wasteland, so we're probably going to see that nonsense go down in a moment.
One can only hope.
That's the reason I'm here.
I know.
That's the reason I'm here.
Volcanic Island here for Ryan. Nobody wants to get him more than you do.
Yep. Especially in the Delver mirrors. I mean, that's just the best one. Because when someone has a handful of spells that all cost 1 and they can't cast anything, that's the sweetness.
Well, Friedman's draw was a young Pyromancer. Wasteland, get that Volcanic Island out of here.
Excellent choice.
Lightning Bolt, take care of the Delver's secrets. Do you approve of that choice as well?
Fine with it.
Yeah. Scalding Tarn the drawn here for Phraner.
Pretty lucky.
He'll sacrifice that. Land number 2. Fortunate there for Phraner.
Keep in mind, in Phraner's deck, only 5 lands that produce colored mana.
Jeez.
So, even though he's got enough lands to work with, he can get cut off, even with lands left over.
There's Deathrite Shaman. Daze the draw here for Friedman. A little late to the party. However, Ben does have Gurmag Angler in hand.
Yep.
That thing's huge.
Combo with Gitaxian Probe. Free card in the graveyard.
Yep.
Also, you know if the coast is clear.
Or at least clear-ish.
Yeah, clear enough.
Bye-bye graveyard. Hello, Angler. That thing is large.
There is 1 copy of Dismember in Phraner's sideboard. And otherwise, here it is. He has his own anglers also.
Yeah, he can play his own and block. Delver Secrets the draw. It's one of those times where you wish you had something like a Vapor Snag.
Mm-hmm. Keep in mind, from the Gitaxian Probes, Friedman is aware of Daze.
Yes.
So that's why you've seen some of the sequencing looks a little awkward on the surface, but there is a method here. Especially with him being so land heavy and spell light, it should be easy for him to play around Daze, and he also can't afford to have any of his spells countered by Daze.
Phraner unsure what he wants to do this turn. The game has certainly changed now.
What's also nice about Friedman's play last turn is that he nuked his own graveyard. So now the Deathrite Shaman doesn't really help Phraner get towards Gurmag Angler because the mana that Deathrite Shaman makes could have just been delved away anyway.
Wasteland among the cards here for Phraner. He'll keep with the Ponder. Gonna take the Wasteland. He's gonna waste the Volcanic. Down that goes. Now we'll see what's next.
Well, I think that Phraner can play an Angler now with Daze backup.
That's the plan.
Very nice turn here from Phraner.
And now all Friedman can do is, because he knows Phraner has days, he just has to untap and draw. Scalding Tarn the draw.
Friedman just desperate for a cantrip at this point, something to smooth his hand out.
Something that does anything. The grip has Young Pyromancer and Daze in it. And really for Ben, he's clutching onto the angler so tight. I'm sure he's hoping that Phraner will just block. Yeah.
Yeah, he can't really hang back on D.
No.
I think it exposes how weak his hand is if he does that. And it also means that if Phraner has a removal spell, Friedman doesn't even get the 5 damage for his trouble.
Will Phraner block?
Well, Phraner can be pretty confident that Friedman doesn't have Dismember, because you would have just seen that straight away.
Yeah, so to me, the only reason that Phraner wouldn't block her is because Friedman's at 15, it's in intervals of 5.
That's part of it. Also, there's so few ways to kill an angler in the matchup that what likely happens with Phraner's angler is that it either connects or it forces chump blocks. In some matchups where you don't know what your opponent's going to have on the way back, you usually trade in spots like this. But if you're pretty confident this card's just going to be good, it can change the math a little bit.
Here's Young Pyromancer. Phraner will daze. We're going to see Ben daze back, I believe. Yep. He's just got to figure out what land he wants to pick up, which is actually a pretty important decision. So Pyromancer's in. All right, back to Phraner. To note, no lands in the graveyards right now, though Phraner does have a Scalding Tarn in hand.
I do like what Ben has done this game, though. Obviously, he's flooding out. Things are not going well for him. But if he untaps the Young Pyromancer in play and rips a cantrip, ideally Brainstorm can smooth out his hand. He can start generating a lot of tokens. That probably pumps the brakes on Phraner's angler, and then Ben has the time to get back into the game.
There's Tarn. Volcanic is the choice. Here comes Angler. If he wasn't blocking with it, you better believe he's attacking with it.
Yeah.
Delver. Remove that. Delver. Pass. Friedman. Another land.
Yeah, that's a real backbreaker there for Friedman. If he finds a cantrip there, he's got a shot at coming back to the game. Still would have been challenging because if these Delver flips, he's going to get beat in the air anyway. But, I mean, this land is worst case scenario here.
That one needed to be a Brainstorm or a Ponder, I think.
Yeah.
There's Volcanic Island.
And now I don't think Friedman can attack with the Angler.
No, I think it's back on D now. There's too much pressure. I'll say this much, if he attacks, it's risky. Maybe it's a way that you can get Phraner to back down a little bit. But now we're going to go back Ryan's way. Underground C, the land here for him.
And the other problem here now for Friedman is Phraner can also kind of hang back if he wants to. Can sit up on his open mana. He can activate Deathrite Shaman to drain to hit for 2 and just wait for the Delvers to flip. Yeah, and Phraner here seeing no reason to rush, just passing the turn right back.
I think Ben drew another land, I think.
Wow. It's only 18 in here, right?
Yeah.
Yep, 18 lands total in the deck. And
just like a classic Delver deck.
he's seen nearly all of them.
There's a trop. Deathrite, kind of take care of the days. I like Phraner's patience a lot that turn. No rush. And Delver's not going to flip. But again, no rush. Also, this Pyroblast is pretty cozy in the grip.
Yeah, you just... he can kind of get a sense that something's going on with Friedman's hand. Clearly, there's nothing proactive that he can do. And if Friedman's hand is counter spells, let's say, no real reason for Phraner to cast very much because, well, Friedman can cast the counter spells, trigger the Young Pyromancer, get something going. So he's happy just kind of hanging back for the time being.
Underground C. The thought process here is pretty clear, at least to me, which is these Delvers will flip eventually.
Yep.
And when they do, you're probably dead.
And Phraner's respecting the possibility of Friedman having a spell. I think that if he knew Friedman's hand, he would have attacked there with the Angler.
It's a big draw by Ben. It's first control of the game. But it's a big draw. Forked Bolt going to take down the Delvers. He'll also get an Elemental token. Maybe he's working his way back into this thing.
I believe Young Pyromancer and Pyroblast, the leftovers in Phraner's hand.
That's it. How do you feel about an attack with an Angler?
Yeah.
I kind of like it. Sure. The game's about something else now, or at least Ben's got to make it about something else. Ben going to fall down to 6. Forked Bolt to draw here for Phraner.
That one will play. You know, if Phraner does it, he has to put the shields down on Pyroblast. He can't cast Young Pyromancer this turn because there's no land in either graveyard. But on the balance, it still seems fine to me. I guess the other side of it is he can simply try to win the game with Deathrite Shaman over the course of this turn and next, and he can save the Forked Bolt for the last 2.
Let's go upstairs.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's a risky play. Because if Friedman untaps and kills your Deathrite Shaman, then you've given up a turn. You've got, you know.
It's bad news then. And the Forked Bolt seems straightforward, but I could make an argument for casting Pyromancer this turn, or casting Pyromancer and Forked Bolting.
Well, what I like about Young Pyromancer is...
Well, I guess he only gets 1 red spell, but sure, go ahead.
What I like about Young Pyromancer here is he still gets to use his mana. If Friedman draws a removal spell, he has to, if he kills the Young Pyromancer, you untap and win the game. If he kills the Deathrite Shaman, you untap, you have Forked Bolt plus Young Pyromancer in play, you kill his board, you have a token, and that's another route. So I think this is kind of the best of both worlds. If Friedman has nothing, you win the game next turn. You don't have to commit with the Forked Bolt right now, and no matter what Friedman does, the Forked Bolt allows you to respond in a reasonable fashion, either winning the game or clearing out Friedman's board.
Delver of Secrets, the draw here for Ben. He will cast that. Over to Phraner. He's going to very quickly activate Deathrite Shaman, drain Friedman down to 4. It's a quick untap and a draw. Another Forked Bolt in hand.
Well, now this makes it easy.
Yep.
With a backup Forked Bolt. No doubt about it.
It's going to make an elemental token go upstairs, drain you, and that's going to do it. Ryan Phraner going to win this match over Ben Friedman 2-1. The Grixis Delvermeer goes to the player on the right, and for Ryan Phraner, he'll be in the top 8, joining Caleb Scherer, Chris Anderson, and Ross Merriam. Looking to be a pretty good top 8 here this evening.